if you're working on this piece and look for a step-by-step guide how to coordinate motions, how to memorize this piece and stuff, you can check out the link in the description for a comprehensive course dedicated to this piece. And in this short video, I'm going to speak about interpretation a little bit. From the beginning of this piece, we have andantino con moto suggestion, which means that this piece should sound quite calm. It's not a fast piece, basically, but nevertheless with a good flow. So this is a balance between quietness and a good stream, what we need here. And for that reason, of course, it's very important to check your tempo sometimes, because when you work on a piece for a while, you might not notice how you run and you start playing it like a little bit too fast. So that's why it's important to check the tempo, either using a metronome or maybe just recording and listening to yourself from the side. So you still have that sensation of a flow, but nevertheless not too fast, not running ahead. So I think that a tempo like something like that might work. Then, of course, what we need is a very good transition from hand to hand. So when you play these lines, you have to really transfer the weight from finger to finger, and especially between hands, yeah? So it should feel like one giant hand of 20 fingers, yeah? These transitions should feel seamless. For that reason, we have to approach the keys with relaxed hands, relaxed arms. And when you dive through the key, like past key. Like imagine that the bottom of the keys is deeper than they are actually. And then you have to de-block the upper body and feel that kind of flow. So you have to feel like you're swimming a little bit. And then, of course, we will shape these lines very delicately. Of course, we don't want to reach an open expressiveness yet, because it starts in a very timid, a little bit like hesitant way, I would say. But nevertheless, we have to shape the tips of these motifs, so we start very gently. And last three notes, and also G sharp on the way back. So these four notes, they are going to be a little bit more focused, like just focusing fingers a bit better. Back to the muffled. So here you have a muffled sonority, and then a little bit focused back to piano. And then we start voicing the upper voice. And what we need to do here is to reach the second beat of bar 5. Because this is a very important syncopated note. So what is very important is not to get stuck before. 1, 2. And then you take as much time as your taste allows you. And of course, making a diminuendo with the pedal. Pedal diminuendo means that you gradually lift the foot from the pedal throughout the bar. So here we have a deep pedal at the beat 1. And then we gradually lift the foot. So we have this pedal diminuendo, like a vacuum cleaner effect. And like that. Then, of course, the question is like, how much of ritenuto do you want here? I would say not that much. So still feel connection, yeah. Otherwise, we have a sensation that the piece has already finished before even starting. So that's why I don't really like to disconnect stuff that much. I really still want to feel the flow, feel the integrity of piece. Then, of course, diminuendo on top. I would make diminuendo at the last two notes. However, of course, if you really want to go extreme, but you might feel that this is kind of pretentious. That's why I would rather dissolve at the end of the bar, although composer doesn't write any diminuendo. But nevertheless, I think that's quite evident that we need it there at the end of bar 5. And then when we start left hand, it's very important not to bump into the bass. Study. Yeah, so instead of that, we dive into that finger very delicately and we activate the second finger, right? The next one. Then we have like a smoother start without actually starting, because it might sound like you sit down and then you stand up. We don't want that. So, so we need a very natural start. Then of course in the right hand we use flattened fingers. And also you might have changed the pedal here. I would probably have changed it also on the second beat here. Not completely, but a little bit. What I do very often is I hold the notes in the left hand a little bit longer, like here. So it allows me to change the pedal on the second beat. But I still have those bass sounds which I don't want to lose. Change. This is a very good way to play such spots. Also here, very important to avoid startings at the bass in the beginning of the bar, but also in the right hand. Because if we start, it's not easy going. Yeah, we feel like we are getting stuck. So you start from like light hand and you immediately like slide to the next key. This is an important skill to develop in order to be with the flow, to move with the flow. We have two same phrases, that's why we nevertheless can play them a little bit differently. For example, a little bit brighter the first one, and then more shadowed. Then releasing the hands, literally when you see a slur break here. And then I would definitely start even softer, like that, like a new color, but immediately with a more potential to grow, yeah, because we have stringendo. So we keep in mind it already here from bar 10. And I personally break this line between hands. So I play 5, 3, 2, 1 in the left hand and one finger in the right hand, which allows me to also to use hand pedal. So I change the pedal on the second beat here, but I still hold the notes in the left hand, so I don't lose them. Change the pedal. Or for example here, I really want to show that articulation. Start that second beat note, that syncopated note, with a good tenuto and with a break. But since I hold these notes longer, I don't lose them, so this is a great way to enhance the texture. So at the end of this bar, number 16, you can even go a little bit off sync, so your right hand can be not perfectly together with your left hand. So it would sound like more rubato, more flexible, because we need to transmit that sweetness of transition back to piano. And this transition to piano should happen like last moment. So don't you dare to spoil this surprise. Otherwise it won't work.